German police say Lützerath anti-coal mine protest nearly cleared. Authorities said, most climate activists occupying the village were removed, but several retreated to underground tunnels. Greta Thunberg is expected to join a major demonstration on the site on Saturday.
I think it's absolutely absurd that this is happening the year 2023. It is the most affected people are clear, the science is clear. We need to keep the carbon in the ground, and Germany is really embarrassing itself right now.
Lützerath is a hamlet in the German state of North Rhine-Westphalia, between Aachen and Düsseldorf. In 2013, the Federal Constitutional Court ruled in favor of the expansion of the Garzweiler surface mine. The open-cast mining of Garzweiler 2 will destroy Lützerath and eventually replace it with a lake. A farmer contested the plans, which were approved by the Higher Administrative Court in Munster. Climate activists moved to the village, squatting on empty farms and occupying tree houses. A campaign began to save the village called Lützerath Lives. In October 2022, the federal government and the state of North Rhine-Westphalia announced that RWE would phase out coal mining in the region by 2030, but Lützerath would still be demolished. Preparations for the eviction began in January 2023. The hamlet of Lützerath was first mentioned as Lützelenrode in 1168. The area had several farms, including the Duis Saint-Eyerhof or Wachtmeisterhof, which was run by the Cistercian monastery in Duisburg from 1265 until 1802. Eckhard Heukamp became the owner of the last remaining farm. In 2013, the Federal Constitutional Court ruled in favor of the expansion of the Garzweiler surface mine in the German state of North Rhine-Westphalia, between Aachen and Düsseldorf. There are thought to be 1.3 billion tons of brown coal in the Garzweiler 2 area. Energy company RWE planned to remove more than 600 million tons of it by open-cast mining, which would necessitate the destruction of several villages. The decision to extend the mining of brown coal was controversial, and resulted in the displacement of hundreds of people. In 2018, 900 villagers were resettled and buildings including a church were destroyed. In Erkelenz, wind turbines were demolished. By 2021, the hamlet of Lützerath became the center point of the climate protesters against the Garzweiler mine. People had been resettled from the village since 2005, then Heukamp refused to leave his land. The state government and RWE had planned to demolish Lützerath by the end of 2022. But Heukamp lodged a legal complaint. The court in Aachen found in favor of RWE, so Heukamp went to the Higher Administrative Court in Munster. And RWE promised to wait for the decision of the court. After the protests at Hambake Forest, which became known as Hambai, climate activists moved to Lützerath, which was nicknamed Lützi. In March 2022, the court ruled that RWE could proceed with the mining and was entitled to demolish the village, so Heukamp left his farm. The Garzweiler mine is eventually planned to be made into a lake. From 2020 onwards, climate activists began to move to Lützerath, first as tenants, and then as squatters, as the land was cleared by RWE. By the end of 2022, there were around 80 people living in squatted farms, tents, and tree houses. A campaign began to save the village, called Lützerath Lives. A climate activist won €50,000 on a television show and pledged to spend the money buying up land in the village. In April 2022, 3,500 people demonstrated against the mine. In October 2022, the federal government and the state of North Rhine-Westphalia announced that RWE would phase out coal mining in the region by 2030. Lützerath would still be demolished, but 5 other villages would be spared. The German coal mine protesters became larger, with another camp setting up in Kienberg. And Golanda supported the climate protests. Following the French tactic of zone to defend, the occupiers declared Lützerath to be Ziadi Rhineland and organized a festival under the slogan, All Villages Stay, in November 2021. The Heinsberg court issued an order, permitting evictions from Lützerath, from January 10, 2023 onwards, and banned people from going there initially. Climate activists confronted the police, and drove them back. ZDF estimated there were 2,000 protesters, planning to resist the eviction and aiming to prevent the police from accessing the site. Climate activist Luisa Neubauer and the head of the Earth System Analysis at the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research both condemned the eviction.